pit blade works.
Hey, what is up, you guys? It's still with Frank, and today I'm back with another video. So I know, guys, I know I've been gone for like 5 days, and for like my uploading schedule, that's pretty crazy. Like I normally like if I miss a day, like that would be like the most I will miss one day. But I was taking my parents back home, so I ended up staying over there for like 3 days, and then so yeah, so that was that. So today I'm gonna be covering Avicebron, and to be honest, I feel like this guy was one of the most like when I saw other servants, right, from Fate Apocrypha, I was very interested about this guy, but we really didn't get to learn much about him. And from the video, it's like 5 minutes long, so I'm assuming that there's not much to know. But I was really curious about this guy, but after I watched Apocrypha, I kind of just forgot about him. But then I saw this video, I was like, oh yeah, I remember this guy. I was pretty interested in him. So yeah, today I'm gonna be covering Avicebron, and I'm really curious to see what his deal is, like what he's all about. I know he can create like golems and whatnot, so that's an interesting ability. But I'm more curious to know like who he was in when he was alive. That's what I'm more curious about, and because I don't remember his true identity. I think they mentioned it in Fate Apocrypha, but I don't remember what his true identity was. So I'm curious. Like, definitely this guy has one of the better, or one of the most interesting designs. So that's what caught my eye at first, like the golden armor and the long fur, long golden hair. So yeah, that kind of caught my eye. So yeah, like I'm really curious about this guy. But before we get started, quick fun fact. Do you guys know that 82.9% of the people who watch my videos don't subscribe? Yeah, it's a big number. It's almost 90% of the people who watch my videos don't subscribe. So that's insane. That's a horrible number. I was surprised when I saw it. But please, guys, help me out. If you like my video, if you like what you saw, there's a bunch of videos coming on the way. So if you like what you saw and you want to go on this fate journey with me, please subscribe. Hit that subscribe button. Please subscribe to my channel. And if in the future you feel like you don't want to watch my content, all you have to do is unsubscribe, man. Like, so please hit that subscribe button and hit that bell so you can get notified when I drop videos. I drop videos almost every day. So yeah, you guys definitely should subscribe to my channel, and especially if you like fake, because I put out a whole bunch of fake videos. Another thing, if you guys want to find out how I'm doing in the Fake Grand Order mobile game, you might want to go follow me on Instagram. I'm posting like a lot of the stuff that I do in the game. I'm posting it on Instagram. So if you guys are curious on how I'm doing in the games, what servants do I use, what servants do I have, what servants do I want, go follow me on my Instagram. Feel free to hit me up, like if you want to talk about the game, if you want to give me any tips, I will also appreciate it. And that's pretty much it for that. I think that's it. Oh, one last thing. So you guys have been asking for that Karna Explained video. That video will be out as soon as I hit 300 subs. So please hit that subscribe button. Again, hit that subscribe button to get that Karna video, man, and to help me out, because that 89.2% is kind of depressing, guys. So please, come on, help your boy out. But that's pretty much it. I can't wait to see what Avicebron can do. So let's just go ahead and jump into the video.
Out of all the servants that I've covered, I gotta say, you Avicebron fans were by far the most vocal. And I admire your commitment coming back to each and every poll and voting for him, still knowing that it would probably not make a difference. Yet, you still voted anyway and left your comments talking about how he was so shrouded in mystery and how you all wanted to know more. And for that, this video is dedicated to all of you. I expect an active comment section after this one because I'm sure to make a few mistakes about everything, so go ahead and point those out and leave your thoughts in the comments below. They're always welcome here. Also, any question will most likely be answered by Cake, so props to him for being so helpful all the time. So let's talk about the mysterious caster of black from Fate Apocrypha, aka Avicebron, aka Solomon ibn Gabiron. Gonna be honest here, he's not your typical heroic spirit that's known for going on numerous adventures and winning lots of wars. He was a simple poet and a philosopher only known throughout history for his many written texts. Born in Malaga, Spain around the year 1000, he lived a rather basic life. One that required very little work to get by, but much like the common weeaboo, he was considered a social outcast. He had parents that raised him well, but they died when he was still young, leaving him as an orphan to be taken in by a fairly important politician at the time. This meant that he had to move to the city of Zaragoza, which at the time was a place that nurtured the Jewish culture. Solomon had continually studied various texts that were central to Judaism. This, combined with his natural skill for poetry, resulted in some of the greatest poems to be ever written for his time, which would then be passed down for generations to be studied to this very day. Now, although Solomon was a philosopher too, his philosophical works weren't nearly as effective at conveying his messages as the poems that he wrote. As such, only 2 of his philosophical texts were passed down, and one of which wasn't even credited to him until the mid-1800s because it was written under an alias. The Fons Vitae was a Latin philosophical work authored by Avicebron. As you already know, Avicebron was Solomon, but that was only discovered after it was realized that the Fons Vitae was a translated version of Solomon's work, and the resulting Latinization of Solomon's name brought forth Avicebron. The Fons Vitae, meaning Fountain of Life, talks about the nature of creation and how to understand life. This book is one of a few that are said to have built the foundations of Kabbalah, a system based heavily off the belief of miracles and borderline magic within holy texts. Kabbalah is not something so easily explained and can definitely be misinterpreted if not explained correctly. So I won't even try to get deeper into the subject. Just know that it deals with mystical elements and Avicebron had a hand in forging it. Other than his works in poetry and philosophy though, there's nothing much else to point out about his life. Even his death can't be considered a tragedy because no one really knows how it happened. But you can see where his obsession with his golems come from. As someone who was so obsessed with creationism and what was essentially the meaning of life, it makes a bit more sense as to why he was so hellbent on creating life itself. Which brings me to his noble phantasm, the golem Keter Malkuth, Royal Crown, the Light of Wisdom. In the Fate universe, Avicebron was a Kabbalist, which basically means he was proficient in magic. He used this magic to create golems to help him with his tasks. But his ultimate goal, what you could even call his wish for the Grail, would be to finish the golem Keter Malkuth, who he refers to as Adam, the primordial human. This golem is the embodiment of God's miracle that was the creation of life itself. It's made out of similar materials to his other golems, but simply putting together the structure for Adam is not enough to make it become the perfect existence. A core is required because an infinite amount of magic must be used to fuel the golem. The best core would be a first-class magus, or a homunculi like Sieg with high-quality magic circuits. Basically, the more powerful the core, the more powerful the golem. Once Adam is created, it becomes a whole nother existence that can only be classified as an autonomous reality marble. Adam projects the otherwise non-existent world of Eden into reality. Its ability is to create Eden and transform the world into paradise by using its endless supply of mana to alter its surroundings. The golem itself has what's called the blessing of the earth, meaning that while its feet are in contact with the ground, it can't be destroyed. However, upon birth, Adam is still quite easy to take down, because at that time it's in its weakest form. Adam grows exponentially until it reaches its max size of over 1,000 meters, which at that point it would be near impossible to defeat. So once Ruler had witnessed Adam's growth, she knew that she had to do whatever was possible to put it at a stop right then and there. That being said, Avicebron can also create numerous lower tier golems that act as servants. They're basically lesser evolved versions of Adam since they're technically still attempts at a reproduction of the creation of life. His whole skill set revolves around making these golems, being able to produce at most 30 in a day. Although, as we saw, they don't quite stand a chance against any of the servants. Not every golem is the same either. How they were constructed and what constitutes their body composition determines their abilities. Some can just be straight up tanks made from earth and jewels, other limber from plants and trees, and some can even use magecraft if you insert magical circuits into their body. He can also control multiple at will and even convert them into a fluid-like composition that can then harden to shackle enemies. So the golems are pretty much a convenient little army that can be used as a nice distraction when the time comes, especially if he's able to spend a couple of months to amass their numbers to the thousands. And that's the caster of black. Let's be honest, he wasn't quite as interesting as any of the other servants, and his abilities were actually fully showcased in the show, so it's not like they even left anything out. They just gave us a very brief glimpse at his past life, and then that was it. So, here's the abridged version of his story. Because he was a social outcast, he grew a disdain towards humanity, which made him obsessed with paradise and the primordial human that would bring it into existence. Neither a tragic hero nor a renowned mage, simply a poet and a philosopher that practiced in Kabbalistic techniques. So yeah, that's it. A pretty short episode today, and next week will be Spartacus's turn, but stay tuned for that one because after that I'll be making a special announcement regarding my Fate videos. But as always, thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed this type of anime content, then you already know what to do. So until next time, ciao.
It was a really short video. It was like 5 minutes long. This guy's life wasn't that exciting per se. Like, he was pretty much a philosopher. He went around, you know, he pretty much stayed on his own. They didn't mention kids, they didn't mention wife, they didn't mention anything along those lines. The only thing that we have from him is like a couple poems that were passed down. So his life wasn't really all that interesting. What was though was his obsession with creating life, which is pretty interesting because, like, for somebody that hates like humans, right? Well, maybe that's why he surrounded himself with golems, just because he feels like, since he doesn't like humans all that much, he can interact better with the golems and he feels more connected to them since he's the one creating them. So I guess that's kind of the case. They did mention something interesting though about his noble phantasm, like the big golem, the Adam, I think they called them, the Adam golem, that it was like, this guy can grow to be up to 100 meters, or was it, no, I think he said 1,000 meters. Like, that's crazy. That's an insane, like, oh my god, can you imagine if this guy like had enough time to freaking like stay hidden for like let's say he's summoning a regular Grail War, right? And he has the opportunity or to stay hidden and create multiple golems. While, I mean, it's kind of hard to hide this thing though. Like, once he creates it, it's pretty much impossible to hide him. But if he can build a big enough army to protect the golem before he summons him, then that golem will pretty much be unstoppable, considering that in most Grail Wars, like, there's only like 7 servants, right? Yeah, around 7. So like, if he's able to hide, like, by the end of the Grail War, by the time he comes out of hiding, by the time he summons Adam, like, most of the other servants probably will be already defeated, and then this guy comes up out of nowhere with an army like of 1,000 or so golems, right? And with a freaking like giant ass golem that keeps growing every second. Like, it will be pretty hard to take this guy down, to be honest. It's pretty hard for a normal servant to take him out. So like, in Fate Apocrypha, like, Achilles had to go at it, Ruler had to go at it. Like, there was like, they had to, like, 5 different servants had to like go at this guy in order to take him down, and that was him at his weakest stage. Plus he had kind of used all his other golems already in the fight that occurred before this, so that's why, like, he didn't have that many golems to protect Adam as well. So that's kind of why he lost. Not only was he like outnumbered, but like all his other golems were already gone. So, but if this guy has enough prep time, like, this guy could probably potentially be unstoppable and could win a lot of Grail Wars if he has a smart master and he's able to have enough prep time. So this guy can kinda be a top tier servant, but he has to have that prep time. He needs that prep time. He said like he could only create like 30 golems a day, so it'll take him a fair amount of time to create like 1,000 golems. It'll take him like at least a month and a half. Think about a month and a half. That's kind of a long time for a Grail War. A month and a half you need to hide to create 1,000 golems. But if he's able to get that prep time somehow, this guy can potentially jump into that top tier. So that's pretty interesting. I was expecting more, to be honest. I really thought that Fate didn't cover everything, and there was a lot more to this guy, but not really. He was like, his life was really underwhelming. It wasn't really that exciting. We don't really know, like, we don't even know how he died. Like, everything is like covered in mystery. I was expecting more, to be honest. Like, but his abilities were pretty interesting, although there were really few abilities in comparison to the other servants. But if you guys know any more abilities that wasn't mentioned in this video, please let me know in the comment section below. You guys are awesome at doing that. Anything that he didn't mention, please let me know. But I think that's it. Yeah, like, this video was pretty short, so thank you guys for watching. I really appreciate it. Again, as I said at the beginning, 82.9% don't subscribe, so please hit the subscribe button. It'll really help me out a lot. And as I always say, have an awesome day, and catch you guys in the next one.